Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. I never thought that I would see the day that if you were to leave skid marks on, let's say, a pride mural on the road, on tarmac, that you could face up to 5 years in prison for doing that. And you're not an adult, you're a young kid. So you have your entire life ahead of you. Then one day you decide to do the right thing and leave skid marks on a pride mural that obviously was left there to celebrate the LGBT whatever group. You're going to be jailed because it's now considered a hate crime to leave skid marks on a pride mural. I never thought that I would see the day, but yet here we are. So Spokane teens are facing up to 5 years in prison for defacing pride flag crossing walk by driving on it. Well, they didn't necessarily drive on it. They used Lime scooters and they decided to do a couple of wheelies on it. Now, these are young kids who probably, I think, they did the right thing, but they were probably going, let's have some fun here. This is absolutely ridiculous. I agree with them. Let's, leave skid marks. That would be a little bit of fun. And I don't even think they really defaced it or made it that bad. So if that means if I was to walk on a pride mural and scrape my feet to try and remove some of the paint, does that mean that I am defacing the pride mural? Or do you have to walk around it? You're not allowed to actually walk on it because it's considered a hate crime to walk on a bloody pride mural that has been put on the sidewalk or where you're supposed to walk or on the road. Like, these people are absolutely insane, but alas, that's what goes on in places like Spokane in Washington. So 3 teens are each charged with a felony, first-degree malicious mischief. Good grief. For leaving scooter skid marks on the Pride Trans BLM flag on the street. Prosecutors asked for a $15,000 bond, and Lime Bike says it is taking action against the youth. So the Lime Bike is going to sue these young kids. I mean, I think there is a lot better things happening in the world to worry about 3 teenagers that have left skid marks on the pride mural, and you can easily fix it if you want to. But no, these kids, malicious intent. We're going to jail them for up to 5 years. So witnesses photographed, recorded, and called police on the teens. Well, how about that? Bunch of left-wing snitches. Left-wing Washington State Governor Jay Inslee signed legislation to make it a felony to deface a public pride symbol. How about that? They're so protected nowadays that you can't touch any of their stuff, because if you touch any of their stuff and it's seen as a hate crime or being defaced in whatever way, it's a crime. The punishment is up to 5 years imprisonment and a fine up to $10,000. Now, I'm pretty sure that these young kids wouldn't have known that law going and doing it. What young person, I didn't even know that law. What young person is actually familiar with all the laws and the punishments that are you're potentially going to face if you commit that so-called crime? For me, it ain't a crime, but that's just my 2 cents worth. And for more people that are living in reality insanity, it ain't a crime and it never will be a crime. But people that are so in line with this LGBT nonsense, they're just going, oh, it definitely is a crime. These kids deserve punishment, and that punishment is 5 years imprisonment and the rest of their life ruined. Goodness me. 3 teenagers in Spokane, Washington are facing up to 5 years in prison for creating skid marks on an LGBT-themed crosswalk mural. Last week, the Spokane Police Department arrested and charged 19-year-old Ruslan V. Turco and 2 unnamed minors with first-degree malicious mischief. First degree. How about that? I just love the criminal justice system in America is totally flawed. I mean, you want to charge and send these young kids. I mean, I know one of them is 19 years old, so he's technically an adult, right? But they're still young. You want to ruin these young kids' lives for defacing a pride mural. That is considered a huge crime. But someone that is actually innocent of a crime, let's say well, it's not actually a crime, but it's more political nonsense. And a lot of people in America actually think so. Someone that hasn't actually committed any kind of crime whatsoever, that's not me, that's actual criminal attorney saying it, Donald Trump, right? I know some people watching this, you may disagree with me on this, and that's totally fine. But the guy did nothing wrong. He had sex with a porn star. So, and apparently he covered it up. Hush money payments that happened years ago, and it's not a crime, right? But that's seen he could face up to 100-something years in prison for being convicted on 34 counts, and we don't actually know what the crime was. So that's what I'm talking about in regards to the whole criminal justice system in America. It is totally messed up. There's a lot of political bias and personal bias that goes into all this nonsense, and I guarantee you this would have been a lot of personal bias. According to a press release, the police first received a 911 complaint that multiple suspects on scooters were causing damage to the newly painted Pride mural. Oh, why can't you just, again, paint over it? It's not hard. Like, the kids did something I actually agree with, but okay, repaint it. I'm not going to say it's foolish because I like what they did. On June 5th, shortly after receiving the complaint, the police utilized surveillance footage and interviewed several witnesses who claimed, look, this is a great use of police resources by all means, like far out. I've seen the boys using rental scooters. The witnesses claim the boys have been intentionally scooting their tires over the mural to create skid marks. Officers then identified and detained 3 suspects. Despite photos of the mural demonstrating minimal vandalization, that's what I mean. You can barely see anything that they did. I mean, what does a scooter really leave that much damage or marking? Goodness me. The release described the scuffing as widespread damage. I swear these days you can say and accuse somebody of almost anything and people will believe it. With claiming the act was motivated by homophobia. Yes, you definitely know these young kids' intent. It's clear homophobia to deface a Pride mural that no one asked for and no one wanted on the street. But because it's Pride Month, we're going to do it. So defacing a Pride mural is clear and blatant hate, and it's homophobia. Who would have thought? Officers observed widespread damage, goodness me, as black scuff marks consistent with scooter wheels were observed across the entirety of the mural. Again, just paint over it. The area is clearly marked to keep traffic away as it was just repainted to repair previous damage. It's clear nobody wants it there. Oh, well. Okay, so Kaylee Gaines McGee, who was at a nearby bar when the alleged vandalization took place, accused the teenagers of intentionally trying to damage the Pride-themed crosswalk. Oh, you poor thing. These kids are intentionally trying to damage something that I personally love and love to look at. We see that you have done this thing and people don't just go and do that without intention. Yes, they do when they're young kids. You don't destroy symbols without intention behind it. Well, oh dear. These people are they're hilarious. Court records also revealed the kids yelled profanities at witnesses who told them to stop vandalizing the mural. You're being recorded without consent. Of course you're going to yell profanities. According to Krem, after appearing in court Thursday, Turco was released on his own on the condition that he and the other suspects promised to avoid the crosswalk. Prosecutors also requested a $15,000 bond to cover the appropriate cost of repainting the mural. $15,000 to repaint a Pride mural. Are you for real? That is absurd. On June 6, Washington State's updated hate crime law came into effect, making it a felony to deface Pride symbols. Anyone found guilty of defacing public LGBT landmarks. Oh, it's a landmark now. Who would have thought? could face up to 5 years in prison and be fined up to $10,000. While many took to X from Twitter to express their shock at the response LGBT allies had to people driving over a mural on the road, others, like the rental scooter company Lime, issued a statement condemning the boys' vile acts. Oh boy, always vile to deface a pride mural. Well, I just want to say this. Even though Lime has done that, Dr. Jordan Peterson said this: maybe don't paint the bloody thing on the road. I'd go one better, Jordan. Maybe don't paint the bloody thing at all, anywhere. And we wouldn't have any of this nonsense. But alas, if you're in a woke state, that's what's going to happen. This was going to be happening, people. Like, oh my goodness, the level of insanity is just so beyond. Here is the video of the young kids supposedly defacing the mural. Have a watch. They weren't actually on there for very long at all. Well, this video doesn't show that much. And then the video, like, they're just driving on it. They're doing a couple of wheelies, but that's about it. They drive off. Well, they scoot off, whatever you want to use. So I personally think this is outrageous and rather concerning if the police are going after young kids for supposedly defacing a pride mural. And I mean, when did we live in a day and age where LGBT things are considered landmarks that are protected by law? That's concerning, if you ask me. These people have far more rights than, say, I would, being protected by law. And that's, again, the criminal justice system is totally messed up. Totally messed up, especially in America. It's they need some serious character checks, if you ask me. Anyway, my friends, thank you all so much for watching. You take care, you be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.